Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Today, I'll will give my thoughts on a beautiful marriage between a very successful man and the beautiful woman that became his wife, and why more men should strive to do something similar if at all possible. I believe the most recent correction Black men have made in our lives was to develop standards for the type of life we want to live and for the type of women we want to marry. Marques Houston built himself up to be very successful. Why should he settle for any woman who doesn't meet his standards? Maybe in the past, he would have been shamed, insulted, driven by guilt, and a need for a woman to be right, that what he's doing was wrong. And I'm glad he didn't listen. Unfortunately, too many Black women have spent their 20s sleeping around and not protecting their wounds. And by the time they're ready to settle down, they have disqualified themselves from some of the best candidates they could have. And then they will look for a guy like Marcus to come in and save the day. Well, that's not a likely choice anymore. And some of those women are bitter now. So it's sad to see so many men and women vilifying this brother for the choices that he's made, for the standards that he's living by, for somebody who wants a woman who's a little bit more pure and untainted to be his wife for a lifetime. And for that, I don't think the brother's wrong. So let's examine a little bit more what he did. He married an absolutely beautiful woman, 100% legally, before she was ravaged by secularism or sex drives or hookup culture and all the kind of debaucherous things that feminism has forced on or has convinced women that they should be these days. And, so good for him. To hell with the jealous, the bitter, the misandrous women who missed out because of the choices they made. So let's let him talk a little bit in his own words on why he did what he did. Okay? So I'm going to share a little bit of something with you. Let's share it. Okay. All right. Let's start it.
Improve your standards and improve yourself, the people that you want around you have to be better. The only problem is if you're a Black man, you're supposed to accept whatever comes your way. For an example, you're a successful Black man, or let's just say this, you're a broke Black man. No woman wants to deal with you. That's true. If you're ugly, if you're fat, you have problems, you have baggage, no woman in Black America wants to deal with you. We understand that. But now, if you're a Black man and you have something to offer, you're decent looking, you're hardworking, all of a sudden, you need to be able to deal with somebody else's baggage and accept them for where they are, although they would never accept you for where you were. That's just the reality. And Marques Houston didn't want to deal with somebody else's baggage. Now, there's this controversial interview going on right now. I want to play this clip and we'll come back and then we'll assess it.
They have to make up things about me because they just don't have enough. And they're so interested in me and interested in my wife and so interested, but what can we create so what we can run with? Because he doesn't give us anything, So I think that's a lot of the reason why people make up stuff too, because they just can't get it from me.
But don't part of you want to say, well, damn, at least she's Black. That's a Black woman I'm married.
Like, and that's true. Like all through the immature days, we would have light-skinned girls in our videos like, why can't you get a sister? Why can't you get a Black girl? And then it's like, oh, y'all only like skinny girls. And it's just like, the plus size women was coming out. And I'm just like, man, I just can't catch a break. But it might be true because everybody thought I was their husband. And I'm sorry, ladies, I'm taken. And, Maya got me. So, I mean, if you want to be jealous, you can be jealous. But, just love me. Watch the movies, watch the entertainment. Just watch my life from a distance. I married a sister and she's beautiful and smart and talented and she's caring and loving and she's everything that I saw myself being in a relationship with.
Right.
And, when you look at a person's qualities, like I was talking to one of my friends and I was saying, yeah, okay, I'm 41, right? She's 22. I could have married a 41-year-old woman and it could have been disastrous. They could have felt like, because I'll sit and talk to women and women that are my age, and they kind of have a different outlook on life. A lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman, and I'm very in that generation, like the old days. I would never want to be with a woman that felt like, oh, I don't need you, or I don't, what I'm saying, like that. So, and there's a lot of women my age. I've dated women my age, and they may have baggage, they may have kids, they may have not. It's just there's so many different women that I've dated throughout my life, and this just so happened to be the one that caught my heart.
So what was your red flags like when you like dating through all through how I know you probably met like some of the most beautiful women in the world. What was some like red flags like, no, you're out. No, like a red flag is like, I'm done. Next.
Red flag for me always if a woman had a kid. Nothing against single women, single mothers with children. I respect them. I love them. I feel like that's one of the toughest jobs, to raise a child and to also raise a child by yourself and to be a woman. 100% tip my hat, respect to the women that are raising children on their own. But just with me, for when I grew up, I never really wanted kids. And, I would talk to my dad a lot, and he would always tell me, look, have your own kids, because you never want to have, you don't know what the baby daddy's about, so, if you're going to have kids, make sure as a woman that they never had kids before, you can have your own. So I kind of like stuck to that. So that was always my red flag. But then that's a personal choice.
Right.
You see, Marques Houston, he had been there, he had done that, and he got tired of the red flags. He started to pretty much see the patterns or proclivities. Women that were a certain age that had kids also had a certain mindset that he was coming across. And let's keep in mind, Marques Houston isn't dealing with, let's say, chicks from the hood. He's dealing with a lot of women in the industry, beautiful women who are professionals, and they had the same things in common. Number one, I don't need a man. Number two, I can do bad all by myself, and they already have kids. And when he said that was a red flag, what it could have meant is not that they're bad people or anything, but like
let me stop it right there for right now. I'm gonna stop sharing as well. Let's just look at it. I mean, is he wrong? I mean, to want what he wants. That's what I'm saying. Is he wrong to want what he wants? And I think we have to examine that. I mean, instead of being hard on the brother, he has some standards that he wants to live by. He has, some thoughts in his head, and he acted on them. All right. So listen. So he married a beautiful woman, Miana Dickey. Now her last name is Houston. All right. when she was 19 years old, and again, she was legal in all 50 states in the union. By all accounts, now she's 22 with a young baby, and their marriage is thriving. So folks should just kind of shut the heck up, right? Be happy for him. He shouldn't be going through any of this stuff publicly on any of these social platforms. If you got issues with that, you should just mind your business. Enjoy whatever kind of life you have left, right? That's what you need to do. See, none of these so-called concerned women ever say anything about young ladies who are 18 and 19 years old already racking up 100 different eggplants, 100 different bodies. There was one woman on the Whatever podcast had 250 bodies, and she was 19 years old. 250. I don't even know 250 people to even shake hands with. She's had 250 men enter her. So what's she going to be like at 30 years old? So this epidemic of baby mamaism, people dropping out of high school, college, men, kind of want a woman who has some kind of virtue left. So I don't see anything wrong with what this brother did. Okay, so Maya, she's old enough to die in war. She's old enough to vote. So she's old enough to live out her fantasy and marry the man of her choosing. I mean, it's as simple as that. This is period, end of discussion. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna share the final video with you guys that where we're gonna talk, see a little bit more of where I think the brother's coming from, and we'll just end it there, on that.
But you expect some guy that has a lot of money to come and fix it when the father of your child you won't get married to. So you want that guy to be handling your baggage. And because at 33, you expected a guy like Marques Houston would want to deal with that. And that's the problem. When a black man like Marques Houston doesn't want to marry a young lady like her, then all of a sudden, let's demonize him. Let's make him out to be, oh, he messes with little kids. He's a predator. The reality is that you're upset that he got a young woman, and there's no evidence of you saying that. And you are mad that he got a young, pretty woman who wanted to be a wife, who's very good looking, and he wanted to have his own kids himself. No, a lot of ladies feel like black men need to come in there and take care of somebody else's kids while getting second-class service. And that's a problem with a lot of sisters that I see in Black America today. You want somebody to come in there and sweep up the rug from somebody else's problem. You haven't fixed your problems yet. You wouldn't deal with me if I still had those problems, yet you want to bring me your problems, some of them financial, and then deal with a 14-year-old child, that doesn't respect me.
You're not my dad.
Most guys are saying no. It's a red flag. What do I get out of this? That's why guys are saying, hey, if I'm going to do this, let me create my own kids. She wants to be a wife. She wants to be my wife. I want to take care of her and provide for her. I don't want a woman telling me that she doesn't need me or she's too strong and independent. I don't want to hear it. It's a turnoff. That's all he's saying. But so many people have a problem with black men and their options and preference.
Let me stop it right there. Okay, so we're going to stop sharing and kind of just end it a little bit on that one, right? I mean, enough said. I think everybody knows where I'm coming from, and that's just the way it is. We don't. It's just a shame that the brother has to go through so many things. And finally, I just want to say this to the pandering and simpish black men who are siding with the misandrous females against this brother. Double dog shame on you. I mean, just double dog shame on you. I really want to curse, but I don't want to. I was trying to keep this as clean as I can. I got some more harsh words I want to say. How can any man, on his purpose, not see that Marques not only made a choice so many of us would love to have been able to make, but he actually saved Maya, right, from a life of trauma and potentially baby mamaism that plagues the black community. Right? What would have made her different than all these other hyenas that's out there who just decided to have free love and free sex and all that kind of stuff until they got themselves backed into a corner? Sexual promiscuity, is a big issue. And, not just for women, but for men too, right? Like I said, men will take sex from women any way you want to give it. And so, so what he did was he married. He took her off the market when she was young. And I would say she probably has a fair amount of her, virtue left. So his intentions, they're certainly his own, but the result seems to be a fairy tale life for himself and a beautiful young woman. And I can't see how any men can sit here, black men, and hate on that. I don't see how you can hate on that. So finally, listen, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to comment. I don't get that many comments, but I'm just out here throwing some, my knowledge out to you guys. Hey, listen, if you have not already, please listen to my previous video on 10 steps on courting and vetting a woman for marriage. And even if you only pick up one nugget off of that list, you would be better off than you were before. Anyway, all pain, marriage, politics, and sports, MPS, over and out.